Hello everyone and welcome back to the next video. I know it's been a while, but I had like a thing to take care of. But anyway, this video is going to be a little different. It's not really going to be about cameras, but it's actually going to be about my 10th generation Civic Si. It's a 2019 to be exact. It is a car I hold very near and dear to my heart. It's my first stick shift car, my first sporty car, and I've had it for about 2 years now and thought it'd be cool to make a little 2 years of ownership review. Big update, I moved to Portland, Oregon, and so I'm actually headed to a kind of cool back road. Okay, I guess my GoPro decided to stop working, which is just really cool. And I also have to drive and talk while filming. That's so good. I couldn't even go a minute without something going wrong. I think that's awesome. So anyway, while my GoPro formats, I'm on my way to a road called Germantown Road, which is a cool little back road, which is where, cars like this kind of shine. So the 10th gen Civic kind of rattled the Honda community because it was very bold. It was a very bold design, aggressive front end, really busy rear end, but it all maintained that while still having, a practical interior and decent space and things like that. Another thing that really rattled the Honda community was that in the Civic Si, VTEC just isn't there. And a lot of people were really disappointed with that, but when you kind of block out all the naysayers saying that this is just a soulless stray away from Honda, what you have here is actually a really good, fun car for a really good value. I really do think that this car is the best in its segment around its price point. If you're looking for something with a 6-speed manual transmission that is also somewhat affordable. If you're looking for something that's slow car fast, comfortable, well-built, reliable, it's all here. You could go for a used Focus ST, but then the interior looks like a rental car. Or you could go for a used Mustang GT, I guess, but I'm not really into that thing. Not sure if you are either. You could also go for a Hyundai Veloster N, but good luck test driving it if you're under 30 years old, while the employees at the dealership treat you like you're financing a Ferrari. For roughly $25,000 new, this is really one of the best cars you can get for that money. It has tons of great features: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, heated seats. That being said, some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in any car. I love these things. A turbo engine that has really good low-end torque. A notchy 6-speed manual. 4 seats to bring your friends around in. And I'm gonna be behind a truck the entire time I'm on this road, which is just really good. You can see how well this is going for me. So anyway, at its core, this car is a Honda Civic, just with a couple flashy things added onto it that make it a fun car. Honestly, there's not much to say about a Honda Civic. I feel like if you're interested in this video, you kind of know about the Civic already. Practical, reliable, everyday car. The Si just brings a little more fun to that. Now, if you noticed, my car is modified. I kind of want to talk about my experience modifying this car and how it's affected the everyday driving experience, things like that. So what have I done to my car? Well, I have an InGen Evolution cold air intake that does nothing but sound good. An AWE Touring Edition exhaust that I really, really like. Not sure if you can hear it from inside of the car right now. It's not that loud, but that's kind of how I like it. XXR 527 wheels on the stock tires. BC Racing BR Type Sport coilovers. And then I'm also running a K-tuner with Fearable Stage 1.5. Now, if you're in the market for a Civic Si and you want to mod it, honestly, the only thing I would say that is a necessity for this car is the tune. The stock tune for this car isn't that great. The rev hang is atrocious and it makes it really hard to drive every day, especially if you live in a city. Because the rev hang, it's just, you get used to it, but once you get a tune that deletes rev hang, like Fearable Stage 1.5, the car becomes so much more comfortable to drive. And you're getting a bit extra horsepower, even on Stage 1, I believe. I run the car in Stage 1. I don't really need more power. I don't really care about that. I'm not racing it. But I believe if you're on Stage 3, you get up to an extra 30 horsepower. Do I regret modding my car? Not entirely, but what I can tell you is that I would have done some things differently. I like my wheels. I wish I got the Cobra cold air intake, but I wanted to spend less money at the time, I guess. I don't regret the tune at all. As I said, that's a necessity. The exhaust sounds great, definitely worth the money. But one thing that I don't really love is my coilovers. Now, the car feels like it's on rails, which is awesome, but they have absolutely ruined the ride quality. This car on its own stock is already pretty loud when it comes to like road noise and things like that, and that's just kind of true for most Hondas. I had a 2016 Accord that I leased, that I just had through college, and it sounded loud too. When you add coilovers onto that, even with the adjustable dampening, it's still really loud and really stiff. And when I was driving this car in California when I lived there, they didn't bother me. But moving up to Portland, where the roads are terrible, you really begin to notice it. There's a reason I came to Germantown Road to film this video and I didn't film it in the city, because this is one of the better roads that's more fun. It's where a car like this deserves to be. So heed my warning. If you live in a place with terrible roads, probably wouldn't do coilovers. Maybe lowering springs, but I've never actually had any experience with those before. I don't know if they would do the same thing. I've heard they can make your car bouncy. Kind of leaving that up to you. But everything else I've done, don't regret it at all. If you're in the market for one of these cars and you're wondering about reliability, I can tell you in the past 2 years, I haven't had one issue, and really it's a Honda. Don't think you have much to worry about. A lot of people are worried about the turbo engine not being as reliable as the naturally aspirated Honda engines, but I mean, in reality, it's a tiny turbo on a tiny engine. If you aren't, like swapping it for a bigger turbo and not changing out any of the inner parts of the engine, this car's probably going to last you forever. It's still, a Japanese car at its core. Or what am I saying? It's still a Japanese car. The car handles like amazingly for a Honda Civic. I mean, it surprises everybody. Every person that's like into cars that I've shown this car is always surprised. Civics have kind of a bad rep in the car community, but I mean, they've come so far. And you can tell driving this car the difference. So when it comes to the 2 years I've owned this car, like I said before, I haven't had any problems, and ideally, I'd like to keep it for as long as I can, because I do think that cars with manual transmissions are very quickly fading out. I mean, we're even beginning to see car manufacturers making plans within like the next 10 years to just not even make gas engines anymore. And I mean, ultimately that's a good thing for the environment, but this is going to become rarer and rarer. So a lot of people complained about the look of the body on the 10th gen Civics, especially the Type R, but I think it looks really good. It looks aggressive. It looks how a sporty car should, but unfortunately everybody complained and they said it looks too aggressive, too many angles, too much going on. And then now you look at the 11th gen Civic, which I think is a good looking car, but it definitely isn't exciting. It just looks like another commuter car. So I'm really wondering what the 11th generation Civic Si and Type R are going to be looking like. I mean, I know Honda's probably going to do a good job, but we'll have to see. So who would I recommend this car to? I'd recommend this car to somebody who wants to get into a car with a manual transmission. Maybe it's their first car with a manual transmission. It's super forgiving, very light clutch, very notchy shifter. You know where your gears are. You can learn stick shift in a day on this thing. I'd recommend this to somebody who wants to feel like they're going fast, but isn't actually, so they don't get any speeding tickets. Somebody who appreciates handling more over just straight up speed. And somebody who just wants a really high quality, nice car, under $30,000, and in some cases under $25,000. Now, at the current time of this video, the car market is inflated by a lot, and Civic SIs with like 30,000 miles on them are selling for $20,000 to $30,000. So you probably wouldn't want to buy one right now, but near the end of the year when this all calms down, it's probably going to be a good time to get one. But that is really all I have to say on my Civic. It's been a great car. I love it to death. Kind of wish I didn't put coilovers on it, but I don't want to put the stock suspension back on because then it's not going to look low anymore, and that'll make me sad. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Let me know if you have one, if you're going to get one, if you thought it was a really bad video, whatever. Yeah, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you in the next one.